These 5 super popular games died instantly overnight. But how did they die? Nowadays, these games seem like as if they never even existed. Sometimes this process happens so quickly that we barely get a moment to say, hang on a minute, what the hell happened and where did it go? And before we know it, we are on to the next one. There are a million different reasons why a massively popular game can suddenly die a rapid death, ranging from issues caused by the creators, dodgy code, or even the players themselves. No matter how fantastic you think a game is, I promise you it is not immune to the test of time. I'll probably get a lot of hate from mentioning some people's favorite games, but anyways, so let's get started with the list with number 5. Pokémon GO. When it was released in the summer of 2016, absolutely everyone was playing Pokémon GO. As with most things, time went on and the hype died down a little, but the thing that put the nail in the coffin of Pokémon GO's mainstream rush was the decision to remove the Pokémon radar. At first, players were able to find out which Pokémon were nearby in-app and were further able to download third-party apps to get more detailed data. The problem is that the tracking mechanic behind this feature's functionality was apparently broken, and instead of fixing, the game's developer Niantic opted to simply remove it altogether. Players were outraged at its removal, noting instantly how much harder it made the task of finding the creatures. Third-party apps became useless and plenty of people felt the game was just not worth playing it anymore. If there was no reasonable way to track what was nearby, Niantic would take months to implement a suitable replacement, and by then it was too late. Number 4. PUBG. PUBG has been one of the many victims of an oversaturated market, one where it did not help when they attempted to sue the competitors Fortnite across 2018 when their game started losing traffic. Competitor pressure is hard to deal with, and it could be a crucial factor in PUBG making a misguided attempt to encourage new players by evening out the playing field with hapless bots. Unfortunately, all this decision did was piss off veteran players who felt that the addition of easy to beat bots completely ruined the appeal of the game in the first place. Number 3. Fall Guys. There was a whole list of reasons why Fall Guys eventually bit the dust in terms of its mainstream popularity. But one of the biggest was that they couldn't keep up with an already heavily saturated market. The game struggled with its own popularity, with the sudden influx of players causing frequent server problems and their lack of cross-platform access causing constant upset. It quickly developed a problem with the cheaters which the developers failed to address, and combined with the other issues, this left players with a sour taste in their mouths. With so many competitors out there, you've got to try keeping people interested, and that's where Fall Guys failed massively. Already put out by the cheaters, crashes, and the developers' apparent apathy, players quickly got bored of what was in offer. Updates were direly needed, but the arrival was too late. There was a limited selection of modes to play on, meaning quickly the novelty was exhausted. Unfortunately, by the time the devs caught on and started releasing new content, most people had already moved on to the next big thing, which was Among Us. As you've guessed it, number 2 is Among Us. If you decided to play against strangers, it became commonplace for games to immediately fail because whoever wasn't the imposters just quit. And trolls or hackers derived a lot of fun from just ruining the experience for everyone. When you paired this with the game's repetitive premise and the lack of frequent updates, it really wasn't worth sticking around. There were very good few maps to look forward to, and the current playstyle wasn't good enough to justify navigating the trolls. Approaching the peak of its popularity, Fortnite was a game for everyone. Anyone could pick it up and play with its simple mechanics and addictive battle royale premise. Now, however, if anyone suggested playing Fortnite, you would probably laugh because socially speaking, the game is now long deceased. It seems as though almost overnight the narrative around Fortnite switched from cool popular game to awful thing only played by children. Never again will Fortnite return to its early popularity. Since you guys have been watching it till here, here's a bonus game just for you. And the bonus is Cyberpunk 2077. Now tell me honestly, who doesn't remember this game? Over the years, game trailers have become increasingly more insane, with some actually being better than those for massive Hollywood films and probably having budgets to match. Cyberpunk was no exception. The marketing surrounding its release was so convincing that it got 8 million people to pre-order the game. The marketing promised an unmatched dive into an interesting dystopian world with incredible visuals and previously unseen possibilities in character customization. Anticipation was practically at a frenzied level when the game released in December of 2020. And oh boy, were the people about to be let down. To put it simply, the game was completely broken. Players who had waited for years to see what Cyberpunk had to offer were starting up the game for the first time to see a world of glitches and barely functional AI. Behind the marketing was the studio's reality. Employees were stressed, overworked, and unfortunately forced to put out a product that was nowhere near finished, and one that could never live up to the game's massive marketing push. The game was pretty broken, yes, but the biggest crime was that the marketing was far too strong compared to the game what it actually was. What other games do you think that died just like these ones? Comment below. Do you know why MrBeast stopped playing Fall Guys and Among Us on his gaming channel? Click on this video and I will see you there in a few seconds.